IP address / name
VC.
is supposed to be.
vc.cyber.rose.edu.
Yeah, I keep saying my login is wrong.
Okay. Your first name, upper capital?
Oh, that's the.
Upper capital.
First name dash last name.
First name dash last name dash RSC. Your default password is password1 with a capital P. All right.
Mine's been updating since 2 o'clock this afternoon. It's on, out of 132 updates, on 112, and it's been there for an hour.
Your vSphere? Just leave it running overnight. You can watch what we're doing. And what I'm doing tonight, I'm going to introduce you to a little bit of the command line utility for Cisco routers, just so you can kind of get used to it and what we're going to do with Packet Tracer. Okay. I mentioned to y'all on Monday the area down here where you can go from routers and switches, hubs, wireless devices, your different types of connections. You can go to the cloud multi-user type connections. You can do custom-made devices with different modules and NICs, WAN emulations, and end devices. Okay, you can add all sorts of different devices to create an assortment or an array of products and network simulation devices. All right. Well, what I want to do tonight is I'm just going to basically just drop in a Cisco. I don't want two of them. Get rid of it. Thank you. Okay, drop. Not what I want. Why are you? Why are you not letting me get what I need? Okay. First thing you do is when you click on any device that you drop in the open area in the logical view map, you'll come to the physical tab. Now what this does is this will tell you the different types of modules you can put in here or what's already customized on this. Now if I add a WIC 2T, that just will let me know that there's a that we've added 2 serial connections there. And if it lets me zoom in a little bit. Okay. Notice I have 2 fast Ethernets. That's what that little yellow is on all Cisco equipment. If you have a yellow, that's going to be fast Ethernet. The blue is a console and the gray is an auxiliary port. You hardly ever use an auxiliary port. Console port is what you do when you have like a tablet or a laptop and you're just consoling in to make Cisco line or command line changes. That's what the console port is. You know have y'all ever seen a console cable before? Has anyone seen a console cable? One or two? Hang on just a second.
Sample.
I think he has one.
All right, this is a console cable. One end is a serial DB9 that you put into a COM port. The other end, RJ45, you just plug into the console port. Now this allows you to telnet into the command line. Okay, they call this a rollover cable. If you ever hear the term rollover, it means it's just a flat. You've probably seen the new Cat 5s where they're all made rollover now instead of a round twisted pair. But that's what that is. They don't have any of the mini serials, or else I can bring those from home. But that's what these are. These are real small. Forget what the nomenclature is for them, but I'll bring them in on Monday for you so you can actually see them, and I'll pass them around. So what we're going to do on this particular device, we have 4 different slots. Your serial command or your serial ports allow you to connect from router to router. Those are usually your WAN lines or your trunk lines, your backbone lines, whatever you want to call them, okay? You have this configuration area. Well, I got it powered on. Scroll over here. Boom, I turned on my router. Okay, now notice you see it down here. Oops, I gotta wait till it says it's still booting. I can come over here, config. Now I can change all this stuff through in here. You will never do that. I'm not going to allow you to do the configuration from here. That's cheating. You need to learn from the command line interface, which is this baby. This is what you'll see when you boot into a router. First thing you see, it'll come down to and says, do you want to continue with configuration mode? Always say no. Because otherwise you're going to go through a series of questions you do not want to do. Okay? We're going to hit return to get started. First thing it does looks very familiar, doesn't it? What does Linux come to? It gives you a prompt just like that, doesn't it? I told you, Cisco command line interface is built on the Unix platform, right? Everyone following along? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in and I'm going to hit enable. And I'm going to see if there is a way, if I can zoom this in. No, it's not going to let me. Can y'all see that okay? Or is it too small for y'all? Is it? Let me.
Could you turn off like one set of lights?
That better? Go ahead and see if you can flip one of those. Oh, probably the other one. Is that better now? All right. Used an old DOS command, doesn't work. And one thing with Cisco, you have to wait till it clears it. And this usually takes it a minute. See the problem if you turn it off and turn it back on? Here it goes. This is what you'll see when it first boots up. It's having to decompress the starting image. No, I don't want to do it. Okay, I'm back here. We have a couple different types of configurations. How many of y'all read about the starting configuration or know what a starting configuration is? I told you to return your books. I forgot about that. You have starting configuration or startup configuration. What that means is the computer or the router or switch, that's what it starts running from. It runs from the NVRAM on startup. Then it has a running configuration. So if you make any changes while the system is running, that's what it's going to continue. That'll be the configuration that it runs with. Now, if you want to save those to where the next time if the power goes off and it comes back up, that it will keep those settings, you'll have to copy it over to the start. Otherwise, it goes right back to where it was. Does that make sense? Okay, let me put it this way. You're working on a dissertation. You've typed your entire 500-page document. You only saved it at page 250. Your power goes out. Your computer reboots. It doesn't have the autosave recovery from Microsoft. You're back to page 250. That's startup config. If you had copied running config over to startup config, that would be like saving your document. Capiche? Got it? Make a lot more sense? I wish I'd had that analogy when I went through it. So, just to show you how to do it, what you do, all you type in is copy, run config, whatever my run is, to start. That's all you do. Copy, run, start. Now, really the command is copy running -config space start space config. Or I'll show you. It's really running start. That's really what it is. It's much easier to say copy, run, start, right? And you noticed it kept bumping out. It's because I hit tab. All I have to do is hit a couple, hit tab. You see how I do that? It's going to say, what's your destination name? Always say, leave it startup config. It says, okay, done. Of course, I have nothing in running, so let's take a look real quick. I'm just trying to familiarize you. We're in the enable mode. Now, I'm going to go into configuration mode. And in order to go into configuration mode, you have to go and configure terminal, okay? What that means is we're going to configure our terminal lines, which are our terminals, our serial ports, which are our serial WANs, or fast Ethernets, gigabit Ethernets, BRI, PRI lines, any type of outgoing configuration, okay? You're configuring this device, which is just a terminal device, okay? Notice that I have now config out here. That helps me to identify that I am now in a configuration mode. I am now a privileged mode, which gave me my pound sign. I'm in elevated mode. And I'm now in a configuration mode. Everyone with me? Okay. Now, if you really want to know what goes on, just hit question mark. And it shows you the different commands you can type in from this config. How many of you remember AAA from network security? Aaron? Kristen already smiled at me. She knew what I was going to say. Access lists. Those are be something we're going to work on a lot. Banners. Those are kind of cool. You can do banner message of the day where you can make it say something to the users that sign on. CDPs you're not going to use. Class maps you won't use. Clock, you can set the time of the day. Configure register if you want to. You can set 802.11s. Wi-Fi stuff. Enable passwords. And then we can get into enable the host name, enable interfaces, enable IPs, lines, all that stuff. We're gonna start talking about that. Now here's the cool thing. If you want to get rid of a command that you just put in, all you have to do is type no and then re-enter that command. You're its parent. No! Don't do that. It'll say, yes, sir, or yes, ma'am. Okay? So, just for fun, let's do this. We're going to enable password. What do y'all want the password to be?
Banana.
Huh?
Banana.
Banana?
Banana.
Nah, I want something easy.
1, 2, 3.
Cisco. And then enable secret password. All that does is it now encrypts your password. But if you forget the password, guess what? All you have to do is erase it, erase the configuration, and reload it. Right erase, reload. Hopefully you have a backup of what you had on there. But it doesn't do you any good because the password's already on there. So if you didn't remember it then, what makes you think you're going to remember it next time, right? But then it's in text file, so you can go in there and change it to whatever you want it to be. Just take out the password lines and plug it in and enable another password. Pretty easy. The cool thing about this, you see this copy paste button? In the Cisco router, all you have to do is highlight it, copy, you can paste it in a text pad, notepad, make all your commands that you want, copy it, paste it right into the router, hit enter, and it goes straight down. Isn't that pretty neat? So now that we have our password set, let's look at interfaces real quick. So I'm going to look at my interfaces. What interfaces do I have? Well, it's going to give me the choice. I can set serial, loopback, fast Ethernet, Ethernet, VLANs. What would be a VLAN worth? Ooh, we'll get into those. I can do VTYs, I can do terminals, I can do all sorts of stuff. In this case, we have a fast Ethernet 0-0. Okay, well, maybe it just wants it that way. Now, I have config IF. What does that mean? Internet interface. Configuration at interface. Okay, yes.
How did you get to interface? I didn't see what you typed.
I just typed in interface F0-/0. What I'm saying is, right here, at interface, I'm telling it I want to go into, I'm already in configuration mode, so I'm in quote-unquote God mode. Interface, I'm looking to change an interface, and I want this interface that I'm going to modify, which is my fast Ethernet module 0, interface 0. Okay? That's all that means. And my other one would be module 0, interface 1. So in this case, now I have to, if I want to have, I have this NIC here, but what do you have to give a NIC for it to work? What can it do? What do I have to have? have? IP address. So an IP 192.168.1.1 with a mask of 255.255.255.0 IP address, and that's all I have to enter. But then I want to say no shutdown so that port stays up. See, now notice that that link has changed to where this interface is going to be up. The interface is up and its state is up. Now that can be put out, and now that port is going to be 192.168.1.1. See how easy that is? You thought it was going to be a lot harder, didn't you? We're going to get to it. Trust me. Everyone good on that? All right. So, I'm going to stop there for tonight, and I'm going to give you an assignment. I want you to go out to Google before Monday, and I want you to find out how to modify a basic IP configuration for fast Ethernets and serial interfaces. Basically what we just did. But I want you to go out there, I want you to play around with some of these commands. If you have a question on a command, just hit the question mark. It'll tell you what they are. And then you type in that. And then when you're at the next level, just hit question mark again. It'll give you all the next segment out that you can continue on. So you can build a tree of all the commands. All right? I want you to come in with basic administrative structure commands that you'll know. You need to know configure terminal. You need to know enable, how to create a password, how to store it in encrypted. I want you to be able to enable fast Ethernets and serial ports. And that's all I want you to do for Monday. All right? Be sure that y'all have gone over that. And we will